Just take a look at the fish on this cake. Can you guess how they were made? They are colorful and they truly catch the eye. This is a great cake, Nancy.
And it's tasty.
It is tasty. Well, I think there's a lot of fun to go around, and I could see I've got a 7-year-old, getting the kids involved, washing their hands, greasing them up, and how would they help?
What we've done here, this is a rice cereal treat that's been shaped into a ball.
How'd you get the color?
Well, we add icing color to it when the butter is melting. You want to do it then, and remember that you're going to be adding the marshmallows in the rice cereal treat, so you want it a little bit more intense than what you're going to actually end up with when you finish. And if you're going to get the kids involved, have them put some shortening on their hands and shape it. Then while it's still a little bit warm,
okay,
rub it like that on the counter so that you get a flat surface.
So
if you forget to do that, you can always slice it off, but then you'd waste a little bit of the rice cereal treat.
Okay.
And then we've just got some fruit gems here that I've cut in half, and I've made as little lips. And I'm using some buttercream icing, and we're going to attach those.
And when you colored the rice cereal, what did you use to color that with?
Just icing color,
just
paste icing color. And so we're going to just put that there. And it's a little sticky, but I always like to use icings just in case he doesn't fall off.
And then if it is too sticky on the bottom of the gumdrop or the jelly, do you put some sugar?
Yes,
dip it in
that's
the
why
sugar?
I have the sugar there. And we can just put his little lips there. And I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect because this is kind of a kid's type thing. Let me go ahead and put some eyes on here.
And let them create, because they have their own version.
So this is basically just anchoring the eyes. And then if you really want to make it three-dimensional, hope I put enough icing there, you can take some store-bought icing, and then you can just fill in with his pupils.
This would even be a great take-home treat for a birthday party or something that you could bag up, make it look like it's in a
Let me give him a tail. You can't see on the other side I didn't finish his fin. And we'll give him a little, whatever you call the top on a fish.
Right, we have gills and fins and...
I guess I should have...
Else. But the kids could create these so easily.
Absolutely, and you could stop here if you wanted to, but there's more.
There's more, okay. Now we're going to make, this is
coral.
The coral. Okay.
So I've taken some nonpareils, and you could do it multicolored, but I've decided to do the solid color. And these are melted confectionery coating or candy melts. And so I've just melted them on low power in the microwave. And what we're going to do is we're just going to get it to squirt. It's cooled a little bit, but you don't really need any kind of a pattern because you're basically just getting it down there.
And then do you just let it set up, or do you have to put it in the fridge to set up?
Put it in the fridge, but what we're going to do is we're just going to do like that. And then I'm going to spoon the nonpareils over the top of it.
So while this cake looks very elaborate and complicated, it truly is a process in the creation of 1, 2, and 3. These are the steps
There's a lot of different elements, and you could use it for different types of cakes. Then after it's hard and dry, put a little more candy on there and put your stick on the back, so that way it's a little more secure. Otherwise, you know, it might break if I tried to stick the stick in there right now.
And we're going to marbleize the fondant?
We're going to marbleize fondant, and you can use your icing color in your toothpick, or you can take some pre-colored fondant and some white and just marble it in.
And you could let the kids even do this step of it. I mean, the covering the cake might be a little something that adults need to do, but as far as mixing it up, they would love that.
Yeah, you can see how quickly that goes, and I've already rolled this out to 1/8 of an inch in thickness. So when you're using fondant, you want it fairly thin when you're going to cover your cake. And this is just a little mini loaf cake. Iced it lightly with buttercream icing to kind of fill in the holes, and that acts as the adhesive to take the fondant. And then
when you pick this up,
pick it up and just begin to have it take shape, and you can kind of stretch it to fit over the cake, tuck it in.
And on a big cake, you would do the exact same thing that you're doing right now, and you just cut off the excess.
Yeah,
right?
And you can use a pizza cutter, a knife. I'm just using a spatula to cut all the way around it. And then you'll pick that up, and usually you don't have to be too neat on the bottom part of the border because you're going to put a border there, whether you're going to add some additional fondant in the shape of a rope or some balls.
Well, and with this, you want it to look like the ocean, so you want it to be a little, the color, you want it to be a lot of variation. And
yeah, I just love the marbleize. And you can see there, you just tuck it down, tuck it in, and then you'll finish your border around it so that it hides any raw edges that you might have.
And this part of it you could do the day before, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
This part you could do it, okay.
Absolutely. Now, let's put some coral on the cake. And we've just taken some really bright colors because usually that's what you think of for the ocean. And this is a tip number 18.
Buttercream?
Buttercream.
Buttercream, okay.
And we'll just start here and we'll just kind of pull it up. You want to squeeze a whole lot or a little depending on what you want your coral to look like.
Now is 18, is this like a star tip?
Yes, it is a star tip. Now you could also use a leaf tip, and this is a 352, and you'll hold it so that one of the points is down, and you'll just pull that up.
And the bright colors. Now with this, did you make your own colors?
Yes, you just add icing color to the buttercream.
These colors are what make this really stand out and vibrant.
And you could, you know, get realistic there.
Make it
and
have
just
a lot of
let
bumps
it, you know, have bumps and let it fall over so it looks a little bit more like sea life. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you could do with it depending on what you want.
And now is this your border that you're getting ready to create?
I'm getting ready to do a border, and I've got a tip number 12. And I'm just going to kind of mound it up. I've got it on a turntable. Mound it up so that, you know, you've got it there because you're covering up the bottom of your plants. That one looks a little wild and crazy.
What round tip did you say, 12?
A number 12.
Number 12.
So you're basically just squeezing it out and moving it along down the way because you're going to put these jumbo nonpareils on top.
And you're just cutting a bag to make an opening?
I'm just cutting a bag because I have them in the bag. Nonpareils, I love them and I hate them. I love them because they're so colorful and so cute, but I hate them because they bounce everywhere.
They want to roll?
Now, if you had a jelly roll pan, you could put your cake in a jelly roll pan so that you could actually catch them as they come out.
A box of some sort.
So you can, you know, you can kind of pick them up and place them, or you can roll them along the top. So you can see they're sitting there on the top, but for the rest of them, you're going to like have to pick them up and
kind of
actually,
them in there.
you know, press them in so that you see them. That's probably the hardest part of this cake is getting the nonpareils to actually stick on the side.
But see, this is a good job for kids. They love stuff like that, any kind of challenging.
And you can put as many as you want on there. But again, it just gives it that kind of ocean floor look. And you don't have to be real neat with doing your coral or anything like that. Now, you can add your fish.
Now, would you put these on there with some buttercream to make them adhere to the top of that fondant?
It depends on how much you're going to be shifting it around. You really don't have to. You could just set them on top of the cake. And I could see also just putting some around the cake if you're having a bunch of people. Now, one thing, because your coral is a little more delicate with the candy melts because it's not real thick, you can take your lollipop stick and actually poke down into your cake and make a hole so that you're not breaking your coral as you're actually sticking it in there.
Or when your fondant is still a little soft. Well, I am telling you, if you are fishing for a compliment, this is the big one. You reeled it in. The catch of the day here. This is a great cake for the entire family. It is almost too cute to cut into. I know you hear that all the time.
No, let's eat
this truly is a great cake for a number of parties, for kids or adults.
Absolutely.